Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today it is a beautiful fall day here in North Carolina. Right outside my window, actually, there's a tree that just in the past few days have turned this beautiful bright red color, so I am loving that. But today I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of a minimalism Q&A and answer some of your questions about minimalism, whether you're getting started, how to deal with gifts as a minimalist, how to ask to not receive gifts, and so much more. These are going to be kind of questions surrounding things that I've personally struggled with or learned, as well as just some general advice for if you're wanting to start minimalism, struggling with impulse purchases, or anything like that. And then of course we will intersperse some little personal questions in there as well. So I'm super excited to get into this. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button below for more simple and intentional living videos coming at you twice a week. Grab yourself a cup of tea. This is definitely going to be a chatty one, and let's get into this. All right, so I'm just going to be reading these off of my phone, but let's get started with the first question, and that's, I'd like to know how you handle gift giving. Do you buy off of registries? What about birthdays and Christmas gifts for family and friends? So this one I think is specifically related to buying gifts, and what I'll say is yes, I definitely do still buy gifts. I really love Christmas, in fact, and so I am still a huge fan of gifts, but what I'll say is that minimalism does help me approach gift giving a lot more mindfully. So when it comes to wedding registries and baby registries, moving into a house, things like that, I love buying off of registries because it's literally them saying, hey, this is a gift that will actually add value to my life and that I'll use. So that works really well when there is a registry. But then for things like Christmas or birthdays, what I like to do is just ask my family members or friends what they want. My family has used Christmas lists for years, and I love it because it allows you to give things that the other person really wants to receive and is actually going to use. And then in situations where I don't have a list or I want to surprise them, or even sometimes I just prefer not giving physical gifts, what I often like to do is gift experiences, whether that's a gift card to a local coffee shop or restaurant that they really enjoy, or something like tickets to a museum, a play, a show at a movie theater. There are a lot of different great experience gifts that you can give to people, and I think that that can be a really fun and meaningful way of being able to give and be generous. And the best part about experience gifts is often you can actually experience them with the other person, so you can create some great memories in the process too. So it really depends on the situation how I handle gifts, but I think the big things that I look out for are how can I give something that the other person actually wants to receive and is going to use, and then also what experiences can I give as well. Let's move on to the next question though, and that is, what is your favorite way to de-stress? And this one really should come as no surprise. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably see this like every other day, but a good cup of tea, a candle, a blanket, and either a book or an art project or a cozy movie or TV show, that is definitely my favorite way to de-stress. I would say the candle, blanket, and tea are kind of the prerequisites, and then the activity kind of varies a little bit. But that kind of hygge, I know I always butcher the pronunciation, but that kind of mood definitely de-stresses me just so much faster than anything else. And this next question is, how do you handle paper clutter like bills, mail, and paperwork? And I have a very strong deal with it immediately policy when it comes to paper clutter. It really can kind of become overwhelming if you let it pile up. And on top of that, most of the paper mail that we receive needs to be dealt with pretty quickly anyways. Bills need to be paid, letters need to be responded to, paperwork should probably be filed so it isn't lost. And so by dealing with it immediately, you're able to avoid this kind of never-ending accumulation, and it doesn't feel as burdensome as it might otherwise because you're kind of taking care of it as soon as it comes in. And I guess the other piece of this is that I try to minimize the amount of paper clutter that comes into our lives. Most of our bills are on auto pay, so when we receive them in the mail, it's basically just saying you paid this, you don't have anything due. And then for our paperwork too, I often opt for electronic delivery of it rather than having it sent in the mail. I've just had too many things get lost, and I don't love paper clutter accumulating, so it's just easier for me to store it electronically. So this is one I've been getting quite a bit recently, and that is COVID-19 making minimalism harder for you? And to be completely honest with this one, I would say that it really hasn't. When COVID-19 first started, I was not that person who went out and bought a ton of food. I might have stocked up on some staples because bread flour was really hard to find for a while there, but I didn't go crazy and just buy everything, and kind of in the months since I haven't either. In fact, I would say it may have actually made it easier because I'm going out to shop a lot less frequently, and so I don't even have like a temptation to impulse buy because I try not to go online shopping in as much as possible, and I'm not going to stores, so like the opportunities to buy things that wouldn't be intentional for me isn't actually like even present to the same degree that it was before. So I would actually say that in a way it's made minimalism easier for me. And I think this next one really ties in with that last one, and that's what do you do to replace shopping as a recreational or leisure activity? And I think that's where people do tend to struggle during COVID-19 with minimalism, is they're spending a lot of time online shopping for things that they might not actually need. And what I'd say with this one is that shopping really easily can become a leisure activity, but I think that that's because for the most part, our culture has largely forgotten about hobbies, or at least we practice them a lot less frequently than we used to. So just try to think about what are some of the things that you enjoy that you wish you did more frequently or that you haven't touched in some time. Maybe that's reading or playing a sport, or you have a craft or a hobby that you really enjoy. Personally, I really love arts and crafts, watercoloring, embroidery, things like that. But just consider, are there any things that you enjoy that you haven't done in a while that you've kind of used shopping to replace? And then just spend time enjoying those. All right, this next question is a great one. How do you politely say, please don't buy me anything on Christmas when it comes to friends and family? So obviously I talked a little bit already about how I deal with giving gifts, but when it comes to receiving gifts, I also want to be intentional about what gifts that I'm bringing into my life and not wanting to cause unnecessary clutter. So I think the first thing with this one is to go up to your friends and family and, like you said, politely ask, please don't give me gifts, but don't leave it there. Also explain why. I'm trying to declutter my life, or I'm really embracing this minimalism lifestyle. Sometimes helping people to understand the why behind your request is going to help them kind of take it to heart a lot more, and then they would be okay with not giving you gifts. But if they still want to give you something after repeated heartfelt requests from you that they don't, try instead to specifically ask for things that are going to add value to your life. Maybe there are some experiences that you would really enjoy that they can gift you instead. Or perhaps you have an item or two of clothing that are wearing out and they can buy a replacement for you of those clothing items. Most of the time when people want to give you gifts for Christmas or your birthday, they're wanting to kind of show their affection through a gift. And so one great way to kind of handle that is just to redirect their gift giving into something that's going to be more meaningful and useful to you as well. Okay, this next one is a fun one, and that is, what is your favorite fall activity? And I am an October baby, so I love the fall. It is my favorite time of year by far, but my favorite fall activity, it's hard picking between the two. It would either have to be apple picking, which I'm going to be doing tomorrow and I'm so excited about, or having a bonfire s'mores night. I love s'mores, and bonfires are just so cozy with a warm apple cider too. That is the perfect evening. Oh, and Christopher and I have also been watching through the Harry Potter movie series recently, which I also feel like is a very fun and cozy fall activity too. This one is a bit of a long one, but it's really good. This person writes, I'm decluttering for the first time and it's a long and arduous process. How do you motivate yourself to actually finish? I feel like I've decluttered halfway several times, but then let the project die. How do I get over that hump? And I've shared this a lot, but decluttering is definitely not an overnight process, and it takes time and dedication to really see the end. So if you're kind of in the midst of it right now, you're in the middle of your decluttering journey and you're feeling a little bit discouraged, what I'd encourage you to do is really to focus on the end goal. I think that often we can kind of lose sight of the light at the end of the tunnel. Refocus on what is your why, how will your life be better with less, and then start surround yourself with people and resources to encourage you as you work towards that goal. So maybe you want to try decluttering with a friend, playing the 30-day minimalism game, or even just finding resources to help you be more effective and strategic in your decluttering. And for that, there are tons of great YouTube videos out there, my decluttering ebook, there are some great decluttering courses as well. So really just think about, are there resources I need to really make this process feel smoother? Because sometimes when we get stuck, it is just that we need to inject a bit of strategy to help us get unstuck as well. That, and don't forget to look back on how far you've already come. You've probably done some amazing work already, so just congratulate yourself on the success you've already had. Let's go to the next question though, and that is, does your husband try to regularly declutter his stuff too? And I've shared this on my channel before, but my husband Christopher is not a minimalist. However, he has come such a long ways in the past few years, and now is at a point where fairly regularly he does actually try to declutter his possessions. Just recently, actually, I walked into our closet and found him going through and decluttering his clothes without me saying literally anything. So I love just kind of seeing the progress he's made in that area, and definitely like encouraging him as I see that happening is really cool. So there are definitely areas where he does not declutter regularly, and that's totally fine, but I have seen a lot of progress with him in that aspect as well. And I really like this one. How many plants do you have and which is your favorite? So I have a lot of plants. I have not counted them recently, but I would probably guess somewhere in the range of 15, with likely 10 of them just being in this room. This is like my jungle room, if you will. And I feel like there are different aspects of each of them that I really enjoy, and my favorite probably changes pretty often depending on which is growing, because whenever a plant has new leaves, it's always my favorite plant of the day. But if I had to just pick one favorite, it would probably be my string of pearls plant. It just looks so cool and unique, and I think it's just different from all of my others, and it's really cute. Next question, have you had moments where you suddenly impulse buy, and how do you beat that? So first off, yes, I have definitely made many an impulse purchase in my time. However, I'm pleased to report that those impulse buying decisions have definitely been further and further apart since I've adopted a more minimalist lifestyle. I make a lot less of them now than I ever used to, and it isn't easy to overcome impulse shopping, but there are a few things that you can do. So the first thing is just to become more aware. What items do you tend to impulse buy? When do you tend to buy on impulse the most? What situations are you in? Try to recognize that and then make a plan for how you're going to react in those situations. And then the second thing is to, if you make impulse decisions, try to return that item so that it's not going to stay in your life permanently. And then a third quick tip here is just to shop with lists. Know what you need to buy and stick to that list. That can really help make sure that you're not buying anything just because you saw it and it caught your attention. So those are just a few quick tips kind of off the top of my head, but I think that there honestly is so much more I could go into on this. So if you'd be interested in seeing a video on kind of impulse buying and how to prevent it, definitely be sure to comment that down below. That's definitely a topic that I'd love to talk about more on my channel. Let's go to a quick fun one though, and that is, what is your Enneagram type? I am a type 7. I don't know what the little label for it is called, but it essentially means that I really enjoy things like travel and spontaneity. I don't really love planning all that much, or at least I can get bogged down in details, but I'm also open to trying new experiences, and I think that is definitely me. And if you're curious, because I've also gotten a lot of questions about this, my Myers-Briggs type is an ENFP, and apparently the two are fairly related, so that's me. Let's do another quick one. This question is, how many items of clothing do you own altogether? And I don't count my clothing items. I don't have any problems with people who do, but personally, it's just not something that I'm trying to be like, oh, I need to have exactly this number of clothes. I think I probably have somewhere under 100. It might be less than like 80, but again, I don't count my clothes, but I would hazard a guess that it's less than 100, kind of all said and told. not counting socks or underwear. I have no idea how many of those I own. This next one was a really popular question, and that is, what advice do you have for someone wanting to start minimalism? So a few things. First off is to know your why. Ask yourself, how might my life be better with less? And know what you want to accomplish through your decluttering. Do you want more peace, more tranquility in your home, less stress or anxiety, more freedom? There are a lot of different benefits of minimalism, but know what it is that you're really trying to accomplish by decluttering and simplifying your life. And then also have a plan. When I first started decluttering, it was very haphazard and I didn't really have any kind of strategy. And because of that, it took way longer for me than it needed to declutter my life. And so there are a lot of different decluttering methods and strategies out there, but find a system that works for you and then stick to it. That will help you kind of get to your goal a whole lot faster. And then finally, just really get started. You can start small and kind of apply minimalism to more and more areas of your life as you go. But I think a lot of times people like the idea of minimalism, but don't actually act on it. So just start decluttering, start somewhere simple, and just appreciate the benefits of how your life can be better with more simplicity in it. And that will often spark your being able to declutter or simplify in other areas. And then let's just finish this off with a couple final questions. First off, this person asks, would you be willing to talk about your crafting and maybe show some of your 2020 pieces? I would love to know how your challenge of not buying new art supplies is working out. So in case you didn't see it, at the beginning of the year, I posted this video of 10 things that I'm not buying in 2020. And on that list was art supplies, because I wanted to really focus on using the ones that I had on hand rather than buying new ones. And for the most part, I have been pretty successful in that. There have been a handful of things that I've bought. I bought 2 new embroidery hoops and some embroidery floss for some projects that I was working on because I'd run out, but I was only replacing things because I'd actually used them, so I was really okay with that specific purchase. And then for showing the pieces themselves, I'll film some clips and put them on right here, but I've had so much fun trying out some different embroidery techniques, and I've really gotten into watercoloring a lot in the past few months. I started off kind of by doing different plants that I had around the house, and then I've gotten a little bit more creative and experimental from there. But for me, that's actually been one of the greatest things about COVID-19 and spending a lot more time at home, is I've really been able to practice some of my hobbies a whole lot more, and it's been really fun just to kind of delve into some artistic pursuits. And finally, this last question is, can you make more routine videos? And I actually get asked this a lot. So what I want to ask you is, what routines do you want to see from me? I don't want to be creating tons of duplicate content, but I also want to be sharing stuff that you guys want to see. So what routine videos do you want to see from me? Comment those down below, and I'll try to make as many as I can. So that's everything I wanted to share with you guys for today's video, but I did quickly want to let you know that Infuse, who are my kind of go-to company for cleaning products, saw how much you guys loved my last cleaning routine video, and they're actually wanting to do a giveaway over on Instagram to kind of give you guys your own set of Infuse cleaning products. So if you aren't already following me on Instagram, head on over to Instagram, follow me there, and check out my most recent post, because I'm going to be doing a little giveaway with Infuse over on there. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check that out. And finally, if you enjoyed this video and haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button below for more simple and intentional living videos coming at you twice a week. That is everything for today's video though, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.